If you're listening to this right now, don't ignore this moment. Seriously, don't scroll away. Don't treat this like just another video, because something about this feels different. And maybe you felt at the moment you saw this. That small pause, that hesitation, that feeling like, wait, why did this show up for me right now? And the truth is, not everything is random. Not every moment is coincidence. Sometimes, things appear exactly when you need them the most, even if you don't understand it yet, even if you can't explain it. And maybe right now, you're in a place where something feels off. Not completely wrong, but not right either. Maybe you've been feeling stuck, like things are not moving the way they should, like you're trying, but nothing is really changing. Or maybe everything looks normal on the outside, but inside, there's something heavy, something you can't fully explain, a quiet pressure, a constant thinking, a feeling like something needs to change, but you don't know what or how. And sometimes, that's the hardest part, not knowing, not having clarity, feeling like you're waiting, but you don't even know what you're waiting for. And slowly, that creates frustration, doubt, overthinking. You start questioning things, questioning yourself, questioning your direction. And without realizing it, your mind becomes crowded, full of thoughts, full of what if, full of uncertainty. But listen carefully, this moment right now is not here to confuse you. It's here to interrupt that cycle. Because before something changes in your life, there's always a moment like this. A pause, a shift, a point where everything slows down, not outside first, but inside. Because real change doesn't start with what you see, it starts with what you feel. And maybe this is that moment for you. The moment where things begin to shift internally, where your mind starts to calm, where your thoughts start to slow down, where that constant pressure begins to loosen, not because everything is solved, but because something deeper is happening, something you don't fully see yet, but you can feel. And right now, I want you to take a deep breath. Slowly, don't rush it, because your body needs this. Your mind needs this. Your energy needs this. And as you breathe, something begins to change. The tension starts to fade. The noise begins to lower. The thoughts become less aggressive. Because you're no longer reacting, you are becoming aware. And awareness is powerful. Because when you become aware, you step out of autopilot. You step out of stress. You step out of that constant loop of thinking without direction. And you come back to the present moment. And right now, you are here. Not in tomorrow. Not in your worries. Not in your fears. But here. And this is where clarity begins. Because most people, they never pause. They keep moving, keep thinking, keep stressing without ever stopping to reset. But you did. You stopped. And that alone already changes your direction. Because when you pause, you give space for something new to enter. A new perspective, a new feeling, a new energy. And right now, that is happening. Slowly, quietly, but real. And even if you don't fully understand it yet, something is shifting. Because sometimes, before life changes around you, it changes within you. And that is the beginning of everything. And right now, as you stay here, something inside you is already starting to slow down. The noise that was loud just moments ago begins to lose its intensity. The thoughts that kept repeating begin to feel less urgent. And maybe for the first time today, you are not chasing answers, you are simply present. And that matters more than you think. Because when you stop chasing everything at once, your mind finally has space to breathe. And in that space, clarity begins. Not all at once, not loudly, but quietly, slowly, in a way that doesn't overwhelm you, but guides you. Because sometimes the reason you feel stuck is not because nothing is happening, but because too much is happening at the same time inside your mind. Too many thoughts, too many possibilities, too many what-if scenarios. And instead of moving forward, you stay in one place, thinking more than acting, feeling more than understanding. But right now, that pattern is breaking. Not by force, but by awareness. Because you're no longer lost in your thoughts, you are observing them. And when you observe your thoughts, you take back control. You stop letting every idea define your state. You stop reacting to every feeling. You begin to choose what you focus on, what you believe, what you carry. And that is where your power returns. Not from changing everything around you, but from changing what is happening inside you. And as that shift continues, you begin to notice something. That heaviness you were carrying is not as strong as it was. That pressure is not controlling you like before. And even if your situation hasn't changed yet, your state is changing. And your state is what shapes everything else. Because when your mind is clear, your decisions become better. When your energy is calm, your reactions become stronger. When your focus is steady, your path becomes clearer. And suddenly, what felt confusing starts to make more sense. Not because everything is solved, but because you're no longer overwhelmed. And that is the first real step forward. And as this shift continues, something deeper begins to settle inside you. A sense of calm that does not come from answers, but from stability. Because you're no longer trying to control everything. You're no longer forcing clarity. You are allowing it to come. And that changes everything. Because when you stop forcing, you start receiving. And right now, you are receiving something important. A new perspective. A different way of seeing your situation. Because maybe what you thought was a problem is actually a transition. Maybe what felt like being stuck is actually a pause before movement. Maybe what felt like confusion is actually preparation. And that changes how you see everything. Because instead of feeling lost, you begin to feel positioned. Positioned for something new, something different, something that hasn't fully appeared yet, but is already forming. And this is where most people miss it. They leave too early. They panic too fast. They assume nothing is happening just because they can't see it yet. But you stayed. You paused. You allowed this moment to happen. And because of that, you are starting to see differently, to feel differently, to think differently. And that is the beginning of real change. Not forced change, but natural change. The kind that builds from inside and then reflects on the outside. And right now, you are in that process. Even if it feels small, even if it feels quiet, it is real and it is growing. Now, listen carefully because this part matters. There will still be moments where your mind tries to go back to overthinking, back to doubt, back to questioning everything. That is normal because your mind is used to that pattern, but now you are aware of it. And awareness changes everything because the moment you notice it, you have a choice. You can go back into the loop or you can pause again, breathe again, refocus again. And every time you choose awareness, you weaken that old pattern and you strengthen the new one. The one built on calm, the one built on clarity, the one built on control. And slowly, that becomes your new normal. Not reacting immediately, but observing first. Not assuming the worst, but staying grounded. Not letting thoughts control you, but choosing what you believe. And that is where your strength comes from. Not from avoiding problems, but from handling them differently. And as you continue in that direction, something becomes clear. You're not stuck. You are just overwhelmed. You're not lost. You are just distracted. You are not behind. You are just thinking too much and acting too little. And now, that is changing. And as this awareness becomes stronger, your confidence begins to return. Not loud confidence, but quiet confidence. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that doesn't panic under pressure. The kind that stays steady even when things are uncertain. Because you now understand something important. You don't need to have everything figured out right now. You just need to stay clear, stay calm, and take one step at a time. And that removes so much pressure. Because instead of trying to solve your entire life at once, you focus on the next step. And that is manageable. That is real. That is possible. And as you take that step, things begin to move. Slowly at first, then more clearly. Because movement creates clarity. Not thinking alone, not waiting alone, but action combined with awareness. And right now, you are in that position, ready to move, but this time with a clear mind, with controlled thoughts, with stable energy. And that is a completely different starting point. And now, before you leave this moment, take this with you. Not as just words, but as something real inside you. You're not stuck. You are in transition. You're not lost. You are in alignment. You're not behind. You are preparing. Say this slowly in your mind. I am calm. I am clear. I'm moving forward. Again, I am calm. I am clear. I am moving forward. Let those words replace every doubt. Let them settle into your thinking. Because what you repeat becomes what you believe. And what you believe shapes what you do. And what you do shapes your life. And right now, you are choosing something different. Not fear, not confusion, not pressure, but clarity, calm, direction. And that changes everything. Because when you change your state, you change your results. And from this moment forward, you are not going back to the same pattern. You are moving differently, thinking differently, acting differently. And because of that, your life will begin to reflect that change. Step by step, moment by moment. And it all started with this pause. This moment, right now,